So I read 7 books in a week.
Now, that might make me look lame or honestly like a nerd, but it was all to prove something. At the end of the day, reading is not as hard as you think it is. You know, I'm not the most hardworking teenager in the world, and honestly, I'm more like your average typical white girl on TikTok.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
The only difference is that I don't do the dances like them, and I'm not that cringy. But at the end of the day, I'm also very lazy, so if I can do this, then definitely you can. You have to understand that the whole point of this channel is to prove to you that things that are really, really difficult can actually be done at a very, very much easier pace. It's all about the tactics, you know, the efficiency and the actions that you take. As such, here's an educational segment on how to read more while I torture myself reading 7 books in a week. So we go on to Monday. Monday was pretty much interesting, and here's your first tip. Reading doesn't have to interfere with anything you do in your life. Like for example, today it just consisted of me hanging out and I was still able to complete my book. I've read as much as I possibly could after I wanted to do everything I wanted to. That's the art of reading. You can definitely get in a few pages every day, even if you have a really busy day. There's many times in your day where you have some free time that you can get 1 or 2 pages in, and that can make the difference out of your habits. If you make reading important, it will be. So roll the clip of Monday.
Alright, so day 1 of reading a book a day challenge. So this is the book I'm reading. It's called 4-Hour Body. This book, apparently, I can't read at all, which is really weird. That's the art of reading. You only read what you need to read. You technically don't need to read the whole book to get an understanding, and that proves it to you on the first day. I only read 97 pages because that was the only 97 pages that attracted to me. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to Tuesday. So I read a couple of pages on Tuesday. You know, I pretty much...
Why are you lying?
Okay. I didn't read, but I did get to play tennis, you know? And that's tip number 2. You don't have to make reading a chore. If you really think about it, the more you make something a chore, the less you want to do it. Some days you won't be able to read, and that's okay. Have fun, man. It's not all about reading.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Alright, so it's day 3 of the reading a book a week challenge. So yesterday I didn't read anything, but I was able to fix my sleep schedule so that I can probably read 2 books today.
You always lying.
Yeah, I didn't read 2 books. Now, you might call me a liar, but, you know, I read 1 book, though. That's that book. And yeah, so I'm at 2 books in 3 days, which is not on pace to finish. I didn't read that book handheld, that's why I don't show it. But I did read that book on this app called Scribd. As you can see here, that's me scrolling through Scribd. It's a really cool app, I love it. So we're on to tip number 3. So you don't like to read, and that makes sense. Who does? But there's a pretty cool trick for you to be able to read even if you don't like to do it, and train yourself to actually enjoy doing it. Here's how that goes. So it's very simple, okay? You take any activity and then you add reading to it. So, for example, if you have 1 hour and then that hour you can just take 50 minutes on Instagram and only 10 minutes of reading. But if you think about it, if you do that 3 times, it's already 30 minutes of reading in that day. That's crazy, right? You don't have to read all at once. You can read in periodical times, even if you do get bored. So for example, if you get bored really fast, you can read for 5 minutes, scroll on Instagram for 30 minutes, read for 5 minutes, scroll on Instagram for 30 minutes. And that way you still get the same effect. If you periodically break it up like that, it becomes a much easier task. Start reading if you want to be cool. Roll the clip. All right, so it's day 4. Yeah, so a pimple decided to pop up. Right, we're over here, beautiful scenery, just vibing, and I haven't read any books. I should get to reading pretty soon. So that was another lie, you know. I guess I was just lying like crazy. I ended up taking a nap, and I never woke up from that nap. So yeah, I didn't read that day. Tip number 4: don't procrastinate reading. Before taking that nap, I think get a few pages in. You're so fake. Yo, you're annoying. Alright, so after failing for a very long time, Friday was a lot better. The difference was that I just did it, and I think that's what you should do. You should just do it, and that's the whole point. Alright, so it's day 5 of the challenge, and I've been doing terribly. I'm gonna do an all-nighter, and I'm gonna read for the whole night. And I'm gonna time-lapse it. Hopefully it's a pretty cool time-lapse.
So here I am, just reading. If you've made it this far, please consider leaving a like. Thank you. I really would appreciate it for the YouTube algorithm. Now have a great day. Bye-bye.
But tip number 5, reading should be intentional. If you do not like what you're reading, don't read it. So if you read a book for 40 minutes and you are not engaged, drop the book. Much better use of your time to move to a different book than to stay with this book. So don't waste your time.
Saturday. Yeah, so I didn't read today either. That means I've read 3 books in 6 days. That's definitely not on track to finish. And if you pass second grade, you know that means I need to read 4 books tomorrow. Yeah, I pretty much just brought death upon myself. I don't even know what to say to this. But here's a tip. Turn off your Wi-Fi. That way, you don't end up like me, watching TikTok all day. Yes, I know that's sad. And yes, you can bully me for that in the comments. Please, it's an addiction. I need to be treated. But yeah, that's how my Saturday went. How was yours? Yeah, so this day was plain out murder. Like I told you, I had to read 4 books. And the worst part is I actually did it. Kind of. I didn't finish the last book because I didn't really want to. I had enough time. I just didn't like the book. So I didn't finish it. So consider that challenge completed. But tip number 7, don't procrastinate. And I know I already said this, but don't procrastinate. Seriously, make it part of your daily habits. I think this should be mentioned twice. I think the more you throw it off, the longer you would take to actually get used to reading. So start reading today. I sound like one of those people trying to sell you something like, start reading today. I read 200 pages per book. Pretty much read 7 books. Damn, man. Honestly, today was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I didn't complete the challenge in the best way possible. And I understand that, but I still did it. You have to understand that if I can read 6 books, 7 books in 1 week, you can definitely read at least 1 book a month. And to challenge you, I actually, down below, there's a chart and there's a challenge that you can participate in. It's reading 1 book a week for 4 weeks, just 1 month. If you want to participate, the chart's down below, and then you can just DM me on Instagram. I'll definitely answer your DM, and then if you need any book recommendations, I'll be there. So I forgot to say this, but down below is all the pages I read and how long I read for. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like. If you want to tell me how my videos are trash, please consider commenting down below and tell me how to make them better. And if you want to see my face ever again, please consider subscribing. A lot of people helped me with this video. All the links are in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.